It's really hit me. Ever since I told my Pope story last time, all of the numerous ways I have almost accidentally offed myself growing up. Like how once upon a time, I almost set myself on fire with a 2-stage rocket I made myself with not but a few key ingredients and a cantaloupe. How'd that happen? Well, so over here in Wisconsin, there is a world famous Renaissance fair known as the Bristol Renaissance Fair. It's this wonderful 2-mile long festival grounds that sits right on the border of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. When I was really young, I used to love going there as a kid, namely because at the time I was just getting into Legend of Zelda and a lot of other fantasy RPGs. And to be in a place where swords and knights and all this stuff I was getting into out in the open just blew my little freaking mind. I wanted to live there. I wanted to be there. I wanted to join in on the fun. When I found out that the youngest you could join the cast was 16, I went and auditioned straight away the following year. And for 7 years, my cast I was a part of was the military, well, rather the militia of the town we were all portraying. I adored it. It was fun. I got to work with some of the smartest and brightest people I ever met in my life. We're talking the best line of work of just knowing everything you could know about Renaissance history. A big part of my job as part of the cast was to help bring to life the militia. So we all had to go and create our own characters. I decided, how cool would it be if I went and played a saltpetersman, essentially a man who was employed by the government to go and make gunpowder for Her Majesty's military. And I actually went and taught myself how to make explosives with the natural components, which, believe it or not, is surprisingly easy. I mean, all really it takes is a little bit of the right kind of or certain type of mixed in with saltpeter and a little bit of you just kind of ground it down for a long time until you got to this certain almost powder, which you then go and to what we know as gunpowder or black powder today. I would go and actually make this stuff in front of people like I was doing a chemistry class. One of the shows we would do was called How Weapons Worked, where we'd go and slice, dice, and pulverize melons, cabbages, occasionally a carrot, to show how weapons work as well as how they would go and fix said wounds. And it was fun, it was great. It always had essentially a splash zone. It was one of my favorite shows that we did. I'm not sure when or how, maybe after I demonstrated I could go and make my own gunpowder. I was approached by my directors to see if I could go and make something that was called Cupid's Fire, which was something that was often used aboard ship-to-ship battles, where sailors would take this little clay pots filled with this nasty paste, light it, and then chuck it at the opposing vessels, upon which it would break open, unleashing this fireball of nastiness across the deck. The scary part was, there was really typically nothing the other side could do, because this shit does not go out until it burns out. It's essentially ye olde napalm. And much like my attempt to make a gunpowder, I did it. I pulled it off. I made Cupid's Fire. It all it really requires is a little different various grains of, and I would just go, typically starting with, add it in little small patches, mix it up, and they would add in kind of or really fine to make it easier to combust, and mix it to the point of being almost like,
welcome to Creature Creator.
Playful like that. And we would end every show with me taking this nasty, goopy stuff and just sliming it over the top of a cantaloupe and just lighting it. And it would be impressive because it would burn for a very long time. However, it wouldn't be really flashy or exciting. And so, much like any young man with no true training and playing essentially with fire, I got bolder. I got crazier. I tried to find different ways I could go and really make it interesting. I decided, okay, you know what? What if I spice things up by playing with the fire, kind of make it a bit more dramatic? So I got myself some fireworks and like stripped them down to get their little sparkling bits and mixed that into the paste. So when it would burn, it would then start to spark, pop, and fizz, get colorful. And it worked. The shows got firier.
There goes nothing! I'm so scared. Oh my god! It's alive!
Look at it running down it in black pools! You are melting him!
My face is melting off! Doctor, you're breathing fire!
Hark as a dragon!
Well, that's what I call a jack-o'-lantern!
We would apply this stuff to anything we could find just to really spice things up every weekend. Like we even once put this stuff on top of a wooden boat one of my friends found that I just covered with paste and fireworks, lit it off into an eruption of awesomeness. I used to often joke doing these shows, ladies and gentlemen, don't attempt anything you see here. We are trained amateurs, which, while funny, was actually not far off. Not that we didn't take any precautions, we did. Usually had a fire extinguisher on the side. We would go and block off pathways so no one who happened to be walking down the street would get set on fire themselves. I often would be accompanied by a few of my friends wielding helmets and a shield to help like guard me as I would go and precariously light this stuff off, not knowing what was going to erupt. And I remember I was not wearing any protection the day of the Cantaloupe incident. As time went on, one of the things I would do to really make the shows be more amazing, I decided to start using cannon grade powder inside the melon. Well, this stuff is like gravel, it's big. So theoretically, as the paste would burn down inside the husk of the fruit, it would reach the powder, creating one last, flash in the pan, blast of fire at the end of the show. Effectively creating a little mini volcano, in theory. At least that's what I thought. Because one particular day, I go about and do this. I hollow out the melon, get that cannon grain in there nice and tight, put on my layer of paste. I walk up, I get my spiel, I light the melon, expecting it to kind of light up like it always has done. But instead, as I see this little flash of light, that was it. The melon went up like that, as it just gone, and it was over with. Which I thought at the time, like, oh man, I guess I made that better than I thought I did. I turn towards the eyes of confusion, like, ta-da! Any questions? That's when I hear this wet, sloppy plop of a noise. As I look right to 1 foot next to me, the paste burning at my side. And that's when it occurs to me that I had created effectively a 2-stage rocket out of a cantaloupe and this fire paste. I believe where I went wrong was that prior to the show, get the melon ready, I went and put a pallet hole from the top of the melon down into the cannon grade powder and just filled that with priming powder with a theory it would ignite everything off at once. Not thinking by doing it like that, I would be propelling whatever was on top of the powder out, launching this burning napalm concoction I had made into the air high enough to look at the melon in confusion and then address the audience of what happened and ask for questions. Just picture that, this full on boom. I am so unbelievably lucky that I didn't get a face full of that nasty gunk, cause, oh boy, I would have looked like something like Two-Face afterwards. Despite almost recreating by far the most true-to-life Hades cosplay the world's ever seen, I still managed to make something those audience members will not soon forget. But yeah, I should not be trusted around fruit, apparently. Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening to this story. If you haven't already, consider liking, subscribing. Let me know what your favorite firework incident was growing up. And if you don't, that's fine, that's okay. You have a good one. Take care.